What's going on, everybody? Bobby Fine, Eric Sheethaber. We're going to be talking through this 10-game MLB slate here on Tuesday night. I'm in the background here. I'm actually running a little simulation just on the I cleared all my stuff and just seeing what SaberSim gets to, so I don't have to wait for it during the show because we usually like to go through that. But curious what you're finding today, Sheets. And I realize I'm getting a lot of Arizona, but I'm not getting to Arizona. I only have one 5-man stack with Arizona, and it's got Davis Martin as the pitcher, for example. I'm trying to get a little different that way. What are you doing to get different? What do you like on this slate? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm a little behind. I just put out my I just updated the projections, and first thing I want to do is I'm going to look and see, at least from a projection perspective, what looks different. Are most of the lineups in, or
most of them are in? Still waiting on the Angels. The White
Sox too, right?
Yeah, it's the later game.
Well, so it's going to be again. That's going to be another big deal, I think.
And you don't know who they're going to. I mean, like they have a bunch of minor league guys that can play. We have no idea which one's going to be, but they're all the same.
The same minor league guys that put up a 7-piece last night.
Right. No, that's the thing, though. You just don't know. You don't know which one of them you're going to end up playing.
Well, as far as projections go, I mean, it looks like for pitching, it looks like Reagan's, and then Wheeler kind of emerges as a clear second now for me, and then I don't know if you can get him in, but and then McGill, and then Gill and Canning. But I'm wondering what we would actually get when we run them, and I'm going to do it now. And with respect to the stacks, again, we're talking DraftKings here. Just want to see if anything looks any different. I really doubt it. Arizona looks like just kind of ridiculous. And then I have, I don't know, Colorado, Angels, KC, and St. Louis, I suppose, as far as rankings go. But then I'm just going to have to run these things. And any no weather thing came up I just have to make sure.
That I have in front of me, I'm just going to double check because I didn't notice anything that was to be concerned with, but I have double check again here. Maybe that's like slight scattered. No, those are not even in the games that matter. Nothing. Better hitting day in Colorado. There's wind blowing out, so that doesn't help things much. Sorry, I jumped over screens. I forgot I had this screen on, not the window. So look, I think that it's hard because the Arizona is going to be so popular. What I was hoping wouldn't happen, but did happen, like the Colorado is actually like I thought Colorado we were going to be able to get at some lower ownership today earlier in the day. I just don't think that's going to be the case anymore. Still probably okay to go, especially if you're playing, near max entries or something like that. But I just feel like it's not quite as low owned as I was hoping it would be. We had earlier, everybody was in single digits. Now everybody's almost in double digits or close to it. I think that's probably pretty accurate. But I'm really liking what I did earlier with the KC. I like KC. I'm getting to some White Sox, but more it's like complementary stacks than 5-mans. I do have one 5-man.
I already am okay. So the White Sox is already out now. Yeah, and I have to redo everything, so I'll be doing that shortly thereafter. So what I'm going to run now, I promise you, is not going to be what I play. I shouldn't. Well, yes, I could promise that, but I'm going to do it anyway just to see what I would be getting. Yeah, all these. What's this White Sox lineup look like? It's Robert, is it Lopez, Vargas? That same. Oh, Dominic Fletcher gets in at 2K. He's probably worth like 1,200, right? I mean, like,
yeah, maybe not even that much, but it is baseball. So yeah, like I mean, I'm looking here, and the question coming in from Jonathan Clark, which D-backs would you play? Like, the answer is it doesn't really, like, all of them. There's the only one that I wouldn't try to avoid any of them. But you're trying to build it out of some sort of a stack. But I mean, it's pretty much in order of the guys who are going to be the highest owned are the ones I like the best because they're most likely to have the best result. The lowest owned is probably going to be Herrera, the catcher, because he's close to the price of Goodman on Colorado. He also has, I don't know if he's ever hit a home run, but he's the lowest owned of the options. But the answer is, like, if you're playing them, I've got different exposure. The ones I have the most exposure to are Carroll, Peterson, and Smith, but those are mostly as parts of 3-mans or 2-mans or one-offs for me. And I'm sort of with everybody on the pitching. Like I like Reagan's the best. I actually like Gill. I'm going to be above the field, Gill, Reagan's, and Wheeler and Canning. And then I'm just not getting to any of the McGill. I do have Chris Bassett in like 9%. I've got like 9% Montas. I've got Tyler. I don't have Tyler McGill. I don't think. I don't have anybody else. Davis Martin. I have at like 15%. But that's really what I'm going mostly with the chalk. But getting where I'm playing the Arizona full stacks, the way I'm getting different is trying to use Davis Martin and playing it with a White Sox stack. So that way you're getting leverage off the people who play it with Canning. That's the way I would try to build it.
Let me see what I'm getting here. So I'm afraid it's going to end up being all this White Sox again. But let's just see what I'm getting here. I like to kind of figure out why I'd be getting what I'm getting. So as far as pitching goes, at current rates, so to speak, getting all this freaking Arizona. This is like obscene. Anyway, it's Reagan's 65%, then Wheeler, and then like I'm getting. This is so weird. So as far as stacks go, yeah, Arizona and the White Sox. Those are the two ones by a lot. I'm getting, I'm 70. I'm playing 150 lineups in that $8, and they want me to play 80% Corbin Carroll. Like it's like
it just gets a little crazy. I mean, honestly, like I'm a little surprised that. I mean, I understand that they're in a great spot, but I just don't know about like making them. They've got, even with running the Sims, we've got them as 50% of your stacks, but I think most of those are 3-mans and 2-mans. Yeah, 3-mans. 2-mans, and then only a little bit of the 3-mans. I'm sorry, the 5-mans. Yeah, I mean, I like the St. Louis as a lower owned stack. I really like the Cubs, like as a 5-man stack that I would try and go take a shot with just to outscore them. I think the Cubs are completely viable. I think KC is like that, and then I think the cheap ones are the Angels and White Sox, as we sort of have talked about. I didn't really get to anything else. I, thought about the Mets for a little bit, but didn't get there. I just think that I'm trying to keep it with those, 5 main stacks that I'm sort of mixing and matching, but mostly St. Louis and KC are making it into my lineups the most, I think. So yeah, Depot's asking a bunch of questions. That's hard to, because let's see, the night slate, trying to get different on those. Yeah, night slate. I mean, what is the night slate tonight? I don't even know what that is. Like, does it start after the Coors game? Does it start before? So if it's a 3-game slate, I would encourage you to get extremely different and not worry about stacking as much and try and be more flexible on that. Sheet doesn't like to do that, but for 3-game slates or less, I absolutely would do that. And I can't speak to the geo mean or up your min uniques on the late slate. I don't.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. I think that on a 3-game slate, I think you could do that, do the geo mean stuff. But I don't think it's going to make you do anything different. Like, I don't think it's going to. I'll do that for you just for the hell of it, for the late slate, because I'm not playing it. Let me just see something. Let me just change my White Sox stuff. I will definitely do that for you. I'll do exactly what you want me to do. I'll do the late slate. And I'll see if I need to do geo-mean filtering there to make it work. But hold on, let me just finish my FanDuel thing first.
Yeah, do your thing, and I'll answer a couple of others. So Mario is asking, how does Oakland sim? So I haven't come up with them. I've run a bunch of things today, just sort of playing around with it, and I cleared. I thought I cleared all my exposures. I did not clear my exposures. Let me reset this and then run this again. Sorry about that. But I personally just don't. I do think Oakland is a really like interesting contrarian stack. I mean, we were talking about being worried about them against Imanaga last night because they hit lefties well. So why against Jordan Hicks wouldn't we take a shot? I think that's totally worthwhile to take a shot on Oakland tonight, and especially because no stacks outside of Arizona really stand out, and Colorado, I guess. I think that's a very, very good way to get different, is to getting to a little bit of Oakland. And I just want to double check a few things.
I still like your Cubs idea though. Cubs and KC, get off to a good start before the Colorado game starts.
Yeah. And I think that the Cubs are like, I mean, we keep seeing it. They put up 9 yesterday. Like, I I think that they're totally worth taking a shot. I'm just double checking the weather there and seeing it. I don't think it's relevant enough. It's like, again, 5 miles an hour for me to stay off of it anyway. So if it was like literally even at 10, I would probably reconsider. But I like it. And I think that KC thing's interesting. What I like about the later ones too is you kind of get some idea, like you mentioned about the late swapping, but you'll have a little bit of idea of the Coors game. Like the way games go now, if they're in the 4th inning and there's nobody who's scored yet in that game, you can just literally just take the best. I mean, I'm curious whether they would actually correlate everything on a slate like this, because they might just try to force in like Judge and Soto instead. I don't know. I'm curious how that would work.
Interestingly, I'm getting in FanDuel some Montas, or oh my god, look at this one.
You can play.
This one's a crazy one. The way I'm simming these things right now, I'm getting all kinds of nonsense. I'm getting ready for this. I'm getting Yankees and Phillies with Jordan Wicks. Like,
wow, what is going on with that one? Do you mind if I ask what sim tournament it's for?
For the Monster.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's all I'm playing too.
Yeah. Yeah, I built one on the Monster, and I'll just give away that I like Reagan's the best. I like St. Louis and Colorado over there.
All right, so just give me a second. Who wanted to know about the night slate and the Geo Mean stuff?
D Pope.
Okay. Oh, okay. For D Pope, I'll do it. All right, so let's and for that's going to be for.
Can I stop sharing my screen so you can, or how do you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let me just get so the night slate, the 9:30. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let me find where I can share my screen. Entire screen. Boom. All right, so let's take a look at this. So first, we'll change a couple of things. I don't have. Well, I could always use the projections that I have, but let's just use the SaberSim ones. So what are we trying to do? Let's build. Well, let's build 5,000. Actually, why not? I wonder if it's going to let me play pitchers against hitters. I didn't check the settings. I don't think it will for 3 games. I think that the default is for 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind that with this because there's no like great pitching up. You know what I mean? Like it's not like Skeens is pitching or something like that where you can get both working that well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to get a really good ceiling performance out of the pitcher and then also get good hitting, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about a 3 game? About like if you were just looking at these 3 games, would you allow pitchers versus hitters?
Yeah, it would depend on which pitcher. If I was playing either
Okay.
Well, no, I know. If I was playing either the White Sox pitchers, if I was playing Martin or Canning, I would not have a problem because of how cheap the bat you probably are using against them is. If you're playing Wu and you're playing like Judge, it's kind of gets to be a little bit weird. You're spending a lot of your salary on a conflicting thing. So it's a little bit tricky. It really depends on which pitcher I'd use. I'd be more comfortable doing it with the cheaper pitchers against the cheaper hitters. Is I guess.
So we'll do the relay throw.
That's pretty big, those night slates. I didn't even realize that was that
night slate, and we'll save it. Okay, and then we will run. Let's build for like say 50 lineups, I guess, and we will run the sim for it. And then what we'll do is see max destination, min destination. I don't know exactly what this means. So let's just build these. And we'll see what we get. And then I'll do the geomean stuff. So what we could think about before that's happening is within the contest sims, let's set it up. So what's this contest? This is the let me see. All right, so wait, contest sims. So there's the night slate, ROI, and we'd be getting all this stuff. So let me see where. So how many people are in this tournament. I should be able to see it just from here or from the contest sim settings. I just can't quite find it. Okay, so contests. Here it is, night. All right, 4705. All right. So what the theory is that you need to use geo mean stuff and make force in low ownership to avoid getting duped. So we're going to check and see if that is actually an issue. So we're putting in 4705 number of entries. How many players are in that lineup? 9. Is that right? So
Yeah,
9.
No, there's 10.
10 in baseball.
10 and
right.
10.
There's 2 pitchers, right? So 10 players in the lineup. So 10 players in the lineup. So you need 4705. Hold on. So you want a geo mean of 34. So let's go in here. Let's just see, let's eyeball it and see what this is anyway. I mean, the geo mean, the top one is 20.92. So you don't even need to do anything. And if you'll notice, Depot, if you see me do any of these, I made it as most unique as possible. Usually you could just put one dupe in and your geo mean is 42. Baseball, it's so hard to not hard, but you really have to work hard to dupe in baseball. And so if you put 0.1 even, which is the lowest, then you can get a geo mean of 34. I mean, if you just want to, as a matter of course, just try to change it. I mean, then you could filter this way, but I don't think you're going to need to in the mains in the night slate. I don't think you need to do this in baseball almost ever, except for a showdown, and maybe a 2-game slate. But in this 3-game slate, I would not worry about it at all. I would just run the sims and just kind of go with that. I hope that at least someone answers your question. Answers your question.
Yeah, and I like you said, it is different in baseball. You're going to be able to get unique a lot easier, especially if you're willing to not play 5-man stacks on 3-game slates. Just naturally people tend to build with the rules the way they are. So I like to minimize on the 3-gamer. Again, I have no proof of this working because I haven't been able to sim it right. I use it as a reference point, so sometimes it's led me helpful there. But I would try to just focus on trying to get if there's tonight, I would if I can try to get Judge and Soto into a lineup, and if I'm not starting Wu, I would try to do that because I think that obviously they have a higher ceiling in baseball than anybody else does. They've hit multiple home runs each multiple times this season. There's a million reasons like that. And I would probably be okay with absolutely having no correlation on a 3-gamer. 4 games, I think it starts to get different. But for me, I would probably not on a 3-gamer.
And also, just so you guys know, if you didn't notice, I put out that's what I'm looking for. WNBA projections for today.
Oh, I saw that you were playing.
Yeah, I'm playing, and I put out projections. They went to the NBA part. So Goldie says they made it up there, and he also said that you could load them onto SaberSim. So I have to do them again because whatchamacallit? Because just like the NBA, I mean, the last time it was 9 a.m, so I do have to change it based on current information. But I'm going to try. I'm going to play, and we'll see how it goes. This is a pretty big contest. So I'm going to try it. Doing the same thing I do, honestly, just for NBA, just going with the projections and going with the sims and see. But I can't really sim, so I'm using a couple of other little tricks. So let's just see. Okay, what are you playing any of the whatchamacallit? The MME tonight, the $8?
I'm playing 25 lineups and nothing huge. Okay. Yeah, and I'm saying, Depop saying that it's all been 5-3s that have won. First, when everybody plays one way, that way is always going to win the most. That's not even a question. That's just math. That's just
a good question. That's a good point.
90% of people are doing it, so 5-3s are all, or that's what's going to happen. Especially as they're using more of these systems and everything like that. I believe in correlation, but as I always point out, I do think it matters more on FanDuel than it does on DraftKings because the way the scoring works. but you really need like a giant sample size, not the last few nights. This is what took it down. That's always the worst way to think of that DFS. Never try to think in the last couple nights.
And also, that's so funny of like what won. I mean, well, obviously,
right.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is a really weird, interesting question from Mario. Would you rather use a chalky play like Corbin Carroll as a one-off or in a stack? I mean, I would never build a stack around one player, but Corbin Carroll, I think, is completely fine whether you're using him in a stack or not. If you're using him in a stack, it just means you're going to have the chalkiest stack by a good amount. If you're playing him as a one-off, you're actually doing something a little bit different. So either one is fine, and that's the way I see it.
How many players? It's 121 players. Let me see how many I have. So I have to match these. Oh, 121, 121. This works. Okay. Uh-oh, what was that? Oh, that's you. Okay.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So fantasy points. I'll put that here. I'm actually going to update the WNBA projections here.
One of the old things that just reminded me the Corbin Carroll question, just of a lot of ways that people used to play versus what they do now. You don't remember sheets, even when you started playing, people would say things like, "Oh, you either stack the game or fade it or whatever with
right.
You're either in or you're out." But no, like it doesn't mean you can't play two guys and get two of the 4 home runs that are hit. You know what I mean? Like there's no rule that says that. And and then there was also, there was a group of guys who just literally all they ever did was they just X'd the Coors game out entirely. And some nights where they probably could have got it at lower ownership, that was their rule. That was the one thing they did to try and get different. And can't say that it did or it didn't work for them, but I know they won some.
Right. Let's just say CVU, and then one thing I am going to do, by the way, if I do play WNBA, for example, I have just so little confidence in the numbers that I'm definitely going to go min uniques many,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
And that is a good rule of thumb, by the way, guys. Like if you're trying to figure out when you need to go min uniques, whatever. Remember, min unique, the lower amount of min uniques means the more you need something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would if you're not confident in your projections, I would go as many min uniques as you can get away with.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, the further down you go with it, the less likely that someone else who's even using a similar type program is even going to do the same thing.
That's true, because the more effort you put in,
exactly. And I'm still trying to find that sweet spot with the Saberson thing, because I grew up with all different builders, and I played on different builders, and I used them as mostly reference points, but I would occasionally build max build and do all that stuff. And it's just different because it really does make a lot of the decisions for you more. Right.
It's a tough what's the word I'm looking for? Balance to strike.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Good to see you, Remo, my old buddy in chat. Good to see you, man. I'm sure we'll see Remo for basketball. He always comes back with us for that. Pitching props we were asked a question about that before. I don't know what the actual K props are. I didn't look at the market today. I actually like the idea of trying this out with some of the Sabres and stuff, but some of these numbers feel like a little bit off to me. I actually think Canning has a reasonable chance to get past. If it's 5.5, that's a little bit frisky. If it's 4.5, I think that I would even lay 130 or so on that. I think he's probably striking out 5 or more if he doesn't get beaten up. I like the Reagan's one a little bit if it's 6.5. If you're not, the odds are about even. And I think who else is there? If there was an under, it's weird. Like Luis Gil, I think if he just has had some weird road starts where he just doesn't last as long. But assuming that he gets his number of pitches that we've got him at right here at 92, I think that he's very likely to have 7 strikeouts or more. Yeah, that D Pope. That's what everybody says. She said the same thing today. So it was that Mooney captain was certainly something that was out there in the air, because there was a lot of people who who had the Mooney captain who just fell short, and it could just as easily have been him as anything else, honestly.
Yep.
It was right there. And then because of the way things happened, because that happened, like Covey ended up in all the winning lineups with Hurts. Otherwise, it would have been Mooney as the captain in all the winners for sure. But man,
well, if anybody cares, my the top 3 owned players in the WNBA, I've actually heard of 2 of them. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, Asia Wilson I've heard of, and Brittany Griner I've heard of.
Yep. They're Asia's the best. All right. What else? Ramos is not in the line. That's what I forgot to notice from the White Sox. Are they? I mean, they realize they don't benefit if they can't. They just stick with not for what? Like, come on, guys.
What is that?
I don't know. The White Sox, like, you bring up these guys, like, okay, maybe let Luis Robert just call it for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? That's fine. But like, why do you have these young guys that you're playing sporadically? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I would be trying to only play the young guys who we already know are major league players like Robert. When you're not trying to win games, there's no benefit to winning games. I would probably be benching guys like that right now, personally.
Yeah, I get. You know what these guys want to listen. If you want to keep these guys, you want to let them play, right? I mean,
sure. I don't know what the case is specifically for Robert. I just feel like I see a different White Sox guy batting like 5th or 2nd and 3rd like every night or 1st. You know, like it just.
Right.
Nicky Lopez, we know what Nicky Lopez is. You don't need to play him every day to get it. But yeah, you're right. Like maybe you do want to. I don't know what you really want to see actually with him because you kind of know what he is, and no one else is going to try and get him. that's the good thing.
Right.
I don't know. All right, so I'm going to adjust my White Sox stuff. Any other questions or thoughts, guys? Nice a bunch of you guys tuned in tonight. Good to see everybody in here. And
user projection.
Keep an eye out this time of year for everybody. And I know Sheets hates hearing this, but just keep in mind, you're going to see more players scratched. We're kind of at that point of the season where things like that are just going to start happening. You know, a pitcher might be scratched before he starts a game because his arm is a little tense for a team that, you know, is out of the playoffs. Just something to factor in. So just make sure to keep your alerts on. And we have our little, you can always just follow our little MLB Twitter because it's pretty fast. Mostly it's just Underdog. Just follow Underdog or follow us and it'll update it, as soon as anything changes.
Just see something. Sim rank.
Jimmy asking about Canning being worth a stab. The problem is you're not really taking a stab when the guy, I'm playing Canning. I'm actually above the field on Canning for what it's worth. But it's not a stab when the guy's the 4th highest owned pitcher. Then it's like, it seems like we shouldn't be playing Canning Chuck. Now, I also have more of the White Sox than most people do. As apparently everybody on SaberSim seems to have today. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. So now I believe I actually tried to run a sim with for this WNBA thing, not with SaberSim, with one of the other.
Oh yeah.
News. I want to see what I get. I don't even know how to watch these games.
God, this Arizona lineup is one of the worst ones they put out. Now they're still a good team and everything. They have a great team and everything, but there's just some more pinch hit risk too because of this lineup because Ketel Marte is not in there. I'm just gonna double check if they officially clinched the exact. No, they have. They still have a chance. I mean, mathematically, to catch the Dodgers. They're 6 back, but they're 2.5 behind San Diego. I think they'd want to get that spot. I'm a little surprised he's not in the lineup tonight. All right, I have a few lineups to rebuild because I didn't realize how much of that Ramos that I actually had. that was a lot, and I don't want to just swap it for Vargas, who's now batting 9th. Yikes. God, every day I see this White Sox lineup, though, and it looks like, God, we have to take the pitcher against them. And unfortunately, I'm doing it today. But make sure you have some White Sox hedges if you're playing some Canning. Because
see, this is stupid. See, I put up the here's my dilemma with Stake Kings. So I put up my stake. I want to put everything I'm playing on Stake Kings, okay, just right. So that people have something to do. And now I did this stupid thing with WNBA, and I'm totally experimenting with this new sim. And the actual math of it, I mean, if you think about it, there's just no way that this is like plus EV enough to put on Stake Kings. But I don't want to not put up there and have it win.
Right, it's a weird situation.
So I'm gonna just leave it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it up there.
It's not like a huge pack. It's not like you're playing like a 5K buy-in or something.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's staying the way it is.
Yeah.
I think I'm good for now.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna respond. He's not even talking to. He's talking to what's your name tonight. I don't even read that.
Oh,
Barry.
oh, sorry. Yeah. Just yeah. I just wanted before we sign anything.
Well, it's not even up to us for us to sign yet. I mean, like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, yeah, Kevin Salt, you're completely right. The White Sox are definitely trying to avoid the 121 game losses. 121 losses. What are they at right now? I actually didn't check today. So.
Well, dude, they went up against the freaking meatball pitcher. I mean,
they've been on fire for them. They've won 4 out of their last 10, which is pretty. It's probably about as good as
baseball players, athletes, they don't try to lose. It's like
of
just
course.
Don't have very good players. That's all.
I don't know if I've ever seen a team 51 games out of first, though.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That's honestly it's like mind-boggling. I don't know if I've ever seen anything close.
What are those Tigers teams? Whatever those
right before they were like the best team in baseball. Yeah, they were really, really bad. Now, the Rockies are 31.5 back. The Marlins are 35 back. Okay. Yeah, if they lose 121, are they going to be able to avoid that? Wait, what are we at here? You're going to have to play like 500 baseball? That's not going to happen. Above 500. Oh. 51 games back. Wow. That's nuts. There was one year where they were really bad and they had Chris Sale. And Chris Sale had the highest WAR in baseball, but there was like halfway through the season. But they hadn't won. They'd only won 2 of his starts. So I was trying, and it was just like people were going crazy about this, like why WAR doesn't make any sense. And I was like, yeah, that is. How can he have a WAR of 5.5 when they've only won 2 games that he started? And
pretty funny.
It just was funny to me anyway. Even though I get it, it's just not. It's all baked in differently, but it's just funny.
Well, it's also like what was it when Ty Cobb would win like the MVPs or something? They're like they could have gotten last place without him. It's like.
Right. Or the Angels. Who have all the MVP guys, and they haven't been 500 in 10 years.
I guess I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to do one more with the new White Sox. I'm going to rerun everything, and I'm going to put up, just so you guys know, I'm going to put up one more set of projections, probably in about 10 minutes. What's left? Is anything left? Oh, wait a minute.
The Angels. The Yankees and the Angels.
The Angels are lit. Yeah, so, well, so I would encourage, and listen, I haven't stressed this in a while. I do encourage, if you have the time to do it, to late swap. Every night where late swap is available to every sport. There's literally, there's no mathematical reason not to. There's like lifestyle reasons not to, but that's not the purpose of this discussion.
Right.
You should always take advantage of anything that can take into account information that you did not have at the beginning that you have now, and that's why you want to go last in poker. You know what I mean? Like it's just standard stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was really very shocking to me that people that play the amount of money that they play don't do it as much as I thought they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember when I first started DFS, like the things that I expected people to do? Remember?
Yeah, you thought like everybody had like a guy reporting to them basically from the sideline almost.
Yeah, I thought that if you're going to play 6 figures a day in the NBA, that you would have like someone like on staff at like every station to like check to see if anybody's spraining their ankle, during warm-ups or do whatever it is. Because in the stock market.
Right.
I mean, that is what it is.
Right. Exactly.
It's for that type of money. I'll tell you this: if I played for that type of money, I would. Let's put it this way: I would do more than the people that play for that type of money do.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
That I promise you.
it's hard to stop someone when it's, hey, what works is working for you. You know what I mean? So like for guys who do well, why change? You know what I mean? Adjust to things, but I don't think enough people.
Well, but then again, I mean, like, on the other hand,
no, I think you should.
You don't want to leave anything on the table. I mean, remember when Tiger Woods, he won like the U.S. Open or something like that, and by like 20 strokes, and he changed his swing.
Yeah, that's true. No, I mean, there's definitely exceptions, especially when it comes to like physical things. But I agree. But actually, no, it should be the same though. You should always be trying to get better along with things getting better. It's true for poker. It's true for DFS. It's true for everything, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Yankees lineup came out. One thing that's a little it's a little different than what the projected one was, but it's Torres, Soto, Judge, Wells, Chisholm, Dominguez, Rizzo, Cabrera, Verdugo. So no Volpe and no Stanton.
You know who?
Stanton.
Getting kind of psyched for these playoffs. I've been following these teams a little bit. You know,
we're gonna have the showdown.
Let's see if Baltimore can actually do stuff with no pitching. You know, like
we're gonna see where your heart lies when the Royals play the Yankees.
Is that going to be in the first round, you think?
No, but it could happen. I guess it could. It still could happen. I don't know. Either way, it could happen in the first round. It could easily happen later on. The Yankees are, they're 3 games up, so they're not done yet. Like it's still up in the air. The Dodgers are trying to catch Philly right now. I really wish
we are going to see, aren't I? Huh?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm think if they played it was the first round, probably have to root for the Yankees, like because if it was that championship game somehow or championship series, one thing away from being live for 90-1, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah,
because remember, if the Yankees win, also they go to the World Series, it costs me another probably $2,000 because
exactly right. I think we should be able to get something from the DK people.
Oh yeah, sure.
Probably harder I think there's just more people are ready for that in New York than they are like in LA. Oh
yeah,
because we don't have the straight betting either. So I'm like,
that's the thing also. That's the thing when they gave me this stuff about the MMA, they really prioritize the sports bettors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever. That makes them more money. So whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so just so you guys know, I just did a projection update, and we'll see what that comes, and then you guys want to see this. Just all right. Let's do this live. What the hell? Let's pull up. What the hell? Okay.
I cannot believe how many lineups I have Brian Ramos in.
All right, so let's do this here. So let's so with the new, so I'm uploading the new projections, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to go presume that all these are in. So we're going to do all over again. So this is what we do. We build the 5,000 lineups. And while that's happening, this is a little trick. Well, I could go do FanDuel, but let's get rid of the soccer so I can see it. So while that's happening, I'm going to go to FanDuel. And this is like one of the real big upgrades to SaberSim over the last year, that you can actually, it could do like multiple things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it could build like FanDuel while here, and then as I'm waiting DraftKings. While I'm waiting for the DraftKings, the FanDuel is just running. Okay. And what's cool also is that it just saves your contest files, so it knows what you did. It's I remember when Andy first told me about this that he was doing. This is like, it doesn't even remotely resemble what it did at the beginning.
Right.
This is before it even had contest sims or anything.
That's crazy.
All right, so let's just see. Okay. So we'll run the contest sims like this. And I presume that while that's going on, let's see if FanDuel has been busy running. Now, even though it's so funny, I'm playing one lineup on FanDuel, but yet I still build like a full 5,000. I mean, you certainly don't have to. but it's just now so ingrained in what I have to do that I just kind of just do this. And look, 5,000 lineups doesn't take more than like a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this going? That's let's run the contest sim here. And then we go back to DraftKings. What I'm going to do before I do anything else, I'm going to take a look at the stack exposures. I mean, in 150 lineups, I'm going to allow everything. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm not gonna X anything out. Okay. But I will, let's take a look at this. I will do probably min uniques too, because I am not confident in these in what's going on here. And unfortunately, it looks as though it looks very, very similar to what it did before. So let's just see. We're gonna put save the contest. Well, not here. Sorry. We're gonna go large slate, contest sims, target contest ROI. That means it takes all the contests I'm playing, takes all the settings, and just puts them all in. And I have like, I don't need a 3-0. Okay, how about that? 3-0 I can get rid of. Like I gotta have at least something. And the good thing is I am going to late swap. It's interesting that I'm getting all these dumb stacks though. Okay, and then we'll just fire these. And I'm going to put these in before I see what I have because I'm afraid to even look. But again, the good thing is the Arizona is a late swap game and it's later. So if I change my mind about this, I could always just do that.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's see. And this is, using the most recent projections, the settings I like. And that's that. We'll take a look at who we have. I will in a second, but let's just get back to FanDuel. We already ran the sim for this one, I believe. Believe we did this. We didn't finish this yet. I thought we did. Didn't we go? Hang on. No lineups. I guess I didn't run the FanDuel one yet. I thought I did. Remember I said that I was going to build 5,000 lineups, even though
I thought you did too.
Thought I did too. All right, we'll leave this for now. And then just for fun, let's go look at it and see who we have in DraftKings for now. I'm really afraid to see how much. Well, I'm not changing it right now, so we'll just team stacks 75% Arizona right now.
Wow.
And 57% White Sox. And so I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing, but I got a full 2 hours to change my mind.
Yeah.
Well, let's just see what happens in some of the early games. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see. And we will just to keep the train going with FanDuel. That one I could show the exact lineup. So let's just see. So again, we're building 5,000 lineups, and yet we're only playing one. We got WNBA going, all kinds of stuff.
You're always in a better mood when there's no football.
Oh, of course. Why would anybody be in a good mood when there's football?
I get so excited, and then halfway through the day, I'm like, damn it, why didn't I do this?
I'm like, wait, who's that scored? Who's that? We saw Alvin Kamara just running roughshod over the freaking Cowboys.
Yeah. I had a friend though who told me today that he switched over, or he told me yesterday he switched from he had the Murray to Harrison stack and he switched it over because it was doing so well at the beginning that he switched it over to the more chalky Stafford Cup stack. And I was like, oh, that's a rough one.
Did you look at salaries yet for this week for the NFL?
I looked at some salaries. I built some hand lineups, but there was no projections out when I was still looking, so I was just sort of going by what I liked. It's pretty much a make or break game, and it's going to dictate what I do in lineup wise. It's going to be the Cowboys and the Ravens that both need to win.
Who do they play? Cowboys play the Ravens?
Yeah, in Dallas.
Wow.
So that feels like a good spot to start attacking.
All right, so I will show you guys what I ended up playing on FanDuel. I got a peek. Let's see. So in my FanDuel one lineup, it looks like we're gonna have his Wheeler with the Seahawks, with Seattle and Pittsburgh. What else?
By the way, I don't mind the Seattle idea a little bit, and they're super cheap.
What's also great about it is that I got 8 hours to change my mind before that.
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
All right, guys, I'm going to go. Good